Hey, what's up there, YouTubers? It's me again, Brian, aka Gamer55551, and I am back with a video game review. And for this review, we're going to be taking a look at the Ninja Gaiden Master Collection for the Nintendo Switch. The game's also available on the PS4, Xbox One, PC, and Steam. And I also want to give my thoughts on the Castlevania series on Netflix. I just finished season 4 and all. And of course, if you're interested in any gameplay footage of me playing Ninja Gaiden's Master Collection for the Nintendo Switch, I'll have a link down in the description down below, or you can click on the card that will appear up on this video. And for parents out there, it's worth pointing out that Ninja Gaiden Master Collection is rated M for mature audiences only, ages 17 up by the ESRB though. For those, when the name Ninja Gaiden comes up though, most people, especially since for me being around the NES era, remember the games when they were released originally back on the NES, and they were considered to be tough as nail and hard games, to be exact. Enjoyable, but still very tough for some folks out there. But most people will notice the Ninja Gaiden name from when it was originally, when the series saw a revival back, I believe in 2002 on the original Xbox though. The game definitely got a lot of praise back then, but it also got was also criticized for its difficulty though. This would follow up with the release of Ninja Gaiden 2 that would release on the Xbox 360 though. But in 2007, the first game would see a remaster under the name of Ninja Gaiden Stigma though. This was in a way a more enhanced version from the original Ninja Gaiden or Ninja Gaiden Black though. There were some additional levels that weren't added into the original game, plus you got to play as some of the other characters like Rachel though. This would also follow up with Ninja Gaiden Stigma 2, which would also be an enhanced version of Ninja Gaiden 2 that was originally released on the 360 that would also make its way on the PS3 though. But the series also hit sort of a rough spot with Ninja Gaiden 3 though. This was considered by many to be a controversial entry because of the direction they went with that game though. The developers would later make up for that with Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor Edge, which according to some folks out there, did improve upon the original Ninja Gaiden 3 though. And the series would also make its way over to the Nintendo DS under the name of Ninja Gaiden Dragon Sword, which used basically the touchscreen controls on the Nintendo DS. But after Ninja Gaiden 3 came out though, the series kind of remained dormant though, as most of the characters like Ryu, Rachel, Anami, if I'm saying the name correctly, most of them were pretty much reduced to basically making cameo appearances in basically the Dead or Alive series, Koei Tecmo's fighting game, to maybe an appearance here and there in some of the Warriors games to be exact though. So it was kind of interesting to learn about earlier this year when Koei Tecmo announced that they were doing a collection of 3 of the Ninja Gaiden games released during the Xbox and PlayStation era, making their way over to multiple systems, including the Nintendo Switch. And I was kind of curious to see how the Switch version would run, to be exact though. And after spending some time with the Switch, I will say this. While I won't go as far as saying that it is 100% perfect though, I will say I am enjoying the game though on the Nintendo Switch, even if it may not be the ideal version for everyone out there. So why don't we get started with the pros and cons, and we'll start off first with the pros. And the first one is the gameplay though. Now, the gameplay for some folks have labeled it as like the Souls-like gameplay to a certain degree, and I would say that is true though. I mean, the game can be tough, even if you play it on, say, like an easy difficulty like I have, though. It's more tolerable, but it can still be tough, though. But at the same time, it's also enjoyable, though. It does kind of push you to figure out how to attack the enemy, when to block, when to use some of the your ninja skills, and so forth. So the gameplay is definitely enjoyable. It's still tough, though, but I found it to still be enjoyable nevertheless, though. The next thing I do want to talk about is in terms of the content though, and there's both sort of a good news and bad news on this. The bad news is apparently it doesn't seem like any of the multiplayer content, unfortunately, are not in the Ninja Gaiden Master Collection, but other stuff like the costumes and so forth though are in here. So in a way, all the DLCs are in Ninja Gaiden Master Collection though. Mostly all of them. Like I said, the multiplayer part isn't though, and that might some people may not think of it. Some people may think it's a big deal. Others may not, though. I mostly focus on the single player part, so I'm not losing sleep over the multiplayer part missing, though. But I can understand why some people may not be happy about that, though. The next thing I do want to talk about, and this one is for those who are. This one's for particularly with the Switch version, to be exact. Now, for those who are not fully aware of, while the Ninja Gaiden Master Collection is available on the Nintendo Switch, it is worth pointing out, though, that there is no physical version, at least here in the West, though. However, a physical version does exist, though, but you would have to order it through Play Asia, though. And I've ordered that physical version as well. And the one thing about the physical version that is actually good, though, is the fact that it's all 3 games are in one Switch cart, though. There's none of that. You put the cart in and you have to download the rest, like we saw with games like Borderlands Legendary Collection or anything like that. It's basically put it in. All 3 games are in one cart, and you are basically ready to go. You just gotta pick which game you want to play, which is Ninja Gaiden Stigma, Ninja Gaiden Stigma 2, or Ninja Gaiden Stigma 3, Razor's Edge, though. So at the very least, with the physical version, everything is in the cart, though, which is definitely nice for those who were thinking about getting the physical version but weren't sure if it was one of those there's part of the game there and you have to download the rest or anything like that. So the good thing is, for those who decide to go with the physical version, all 3 games are in one cart, but it is worth pointing out, though, that you have to get it through via Play Asia. I'd just like to point that out. And last but not least, though, and is the fact that the games, all 3 of them, do run at 60 FPS, though, even on the Nintendo Switch, which is definitely good. I like the fact that they are able to, at very least, maintain the 60 FPS in all 3 games, though, because this is a game certainly designed to run at 60 frames per second. It was like it was when the original one came out on the original Xbox, to when the Stigma version came out on the PS3, and it's nice to see it run at 60 FPS, especially on the Nintendo Switch, though. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we'll get to part 2, which is the cons. Plus, I want to give my thoughts on the Castlevania series on Netflix. So, we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with part 2 of my video review of the Ninja Gaiden Master Collection for the Nintendo Switch. As I mentioned before, the game's also available on the PS4, Xbox One, and PC via Steam. So now that I gave you the So now that I gave you the pros, why don't we get started with the cons? And there are really 3 cons I could think of in terms of the Ninja Gaiden Master Collection for the Nintendo Switch. We'll start off with the first one. Now, as I mentioned in the Pro, though, I talked about how the game ran at 60 FPS, though, and that is true, though. The game does run at 60 FPS, and that certainly isn't necessarily a bad thing. That said, though, I will notice, based on my time with the game, though, there are times when I do see the frame rate does take a dip every now and then, though. I've seen this mostly in Ninja Gaiden Stigma 2 and Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor Edge. Some examples I could give is in the second area where you basically go to Ryo's village, though. There were times when I did see the frame rate kind of dip a little bit, though. In some cases, though. Other times in the New York City area, I saw it ran just fine, but when I got to sort of to the Staten Island part, or at least battling the Statue of Liberty, there was moments where I saw it kind of dip, though. So, does it make the game unplayable in any way? I won't say it's unplayable. I won't go far as saying it's unplayable. I was still able to do what I need to do, but it is still, it is annoying, nevertheless, though. Same thing with Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge, though. There were times when basically the frame rate did dip, sometimes when there's a lot of enemies on the screen or anything like that, but again, nothing that made the game unplayable, at least for me, though, to be exact, though. So, yes, the game does run at 60 FPS, though, but I did notice sometimes when the frame rate does take a dip. I do hope that to some degree, Koei Tecmo maybe finds a way to address this, maybe with a patch or something like that. It's also worth pointing out, though, that the game does run at 720p basically run 720p even if you're playing it on your TV, though, which, again, It's not a big deal to some degree, though. It might be disappointment to some, but it isn't a big deal for me, though. However, in games like Ninja Gaiden Stigma 2 and Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor Edge, there were times when I saw the resolution at times dip below 720p and then go back up to 720p. So there are some hiccups here and there, though. But like I said, nothing that made the game unplayable. But they are certainly noticeable, though. The next thing I do want to talk about is basically Ninja Gaiden Stigma 2 and 3. Now, I don't hate the games or anything like that, or actually, wait, Ninja Gaiden 1 and 2. Now, as I said before, I don't hate the games or anything like that. I never played the original Ninja Gaiden on the Xbox or the Xbox 360, though. My time with it is based on the Sigma version that I played when it originally came out on the PS3 and all that. And certainly to me, I don't hate the Sigma version at all. I look at it as sort of as an enhanced version of the original one and all, and for me that certainly isn't a bad thing. That said, not everyone will be happy that it's based off the Stigma version, and for that, some of it has to do with the fact that the gore in the game is kind of toned down a little bit compared to what it was like maybe in the original Xbox version, though. Some people may not like that, though. Others may not view it as a big deal in any way. I mean, yes, I can understand why some people might view it as this being the censored version, but at the same time, you also are getting improved controls to some degree, especially with the camera angle, to extra levels not found in the original version. So to me, I'm not bothered by this, but I can understand why some folks might be a bit upset, to be exact. Although there is supposedly a day one patch that does restore sort of the blood and the gore in the game for those who might have been disappointed. About that, though. So, I mean, it's considered, some might consider, the Sigma version isn't for everyone out there. I'm not bothered by it, though. My first time playing the Ninja Gaiden game was through the Stigma version, though, so I'm not losing sleep over it or anything like that. And last but not least, let's talk about, the last one has to do with Ninja Gaiden 3 and the Razor Edge version. I remember hearing about how this one is considered not liked by a lot of folks, and it's considered by many to be a controversial entry, and I can see why, though. The game takes a much different approach than Ninja Gaiden Stigma 1 and 2 did, though. Ninja Gaiden 3 tends to be a bit more way more linear than, say, what Ninja Gaiden Stigma 1 and 2 are, though. And in a way, I can't help but feel, in terms of the story, to some extent, kind of gives off a little bit of a Call of Duty vibes and all that. Do I think it's a horrible game by any chance? No, I don't think it's a bad game. I still think it is a good game, but when compared to Ninja Gaiden 1 and 2, or Stigma 1 and 2 to be exact, I have to say those games are definitely better than Ninja Gaiden 3 or Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge, since in the Ninja Gaiden Master Collection, Ninja Gaiden 3 is the Razor Edge version, though. So, again, I can see it being a controversial entry, though. I don't think it's as awful as the internet makes it sound like it is, but I will admit that Ninja Gaiden Stigma 1 and 2 are definitely the better game. Overall, I would say the Ninja Gaiden Master Collection is a good game indeed and all. I mean, the gameplay is, although tough, but still enjoyable, though. You're getting all the DLCs outside of maybe the multiplayer part, though. And it does run at 60 FPS, which is certainly nice. And if you opt to go with the physical version via Play Asia, it's going to be all 3 games in one. You don't have to worry about downloading, the other 2 games to be exact, though. However, as I mentioned before, while the game runs at 60 FPS, the frame rate does tend to take a hit every now and then. As I said, I mentioned mostly I've seen it in Stigma 2 and Razor's Edge, though. And the game is going to run at 720p, though there are times when sometimes I see situations where the resolution drops a little bit before going back at 720p, though. And I understand that the version games they have in the Ninja Gaiden Master Collection is considered controversial to some folks out there. Ninja Gaiden 1 and 2 are based off the Stigma version, and I can understand why not everyone is a fan of it, though I could care less, though. And Ninja Gaiden 3 is definitely considered by far the controversial entry in the series, though. Again, like I said, I don't think it's a bad game, but I still think the first and second Ninja Gaiden games are definitely better, though. So, It's not 100% perfect, especially on the Nintendo Switch, but it is still a fun game nevertheless, though. I do recommend this game for those who are fans of action titles or want to try out any of the Ninja Gaiden games they missed out, though. Excuse me. As far as which version to pick up, though, for me, I'm happy with the Switch version. I'm not really... I like, the whole portability factor and all that stuff, and the fact that the game runs at 60 FPS is certainly nice, even though there are some hiccups here and there, though. But again, it's going to base off what your main system of choice is. If you have a Nintendo Switch, I definitely would recommend it. But if portability is not a big deal or anything like that, then I would say go with it either on the PS4 version or the Xbox or the PC version, to be exact, though. I am hoping, though, that this game does well enough that it might convince Koei Tecmo to do maybe like a Ninja Gaiden 4. I would love for Koei Tecmo to do that, or maybe a remake of Ninja Gaiden Dragon Sword, though. If they do remake the game or remaster that, hopefully they don't make the same mistake Square Enix did with trying to port over the original World Ends With You to the Nintendo Switch, which relied too heavily on the touchscreen, to be exact. And I also hope that this opens the idea of maybe Koei Tecmo maybe reviving some of their older franchise and maybe giving them another shot. Like, I would love to see Winback make a comeback, to be exact, though. I would love to see Crimson Sea 1 or 2 either get a remake or a remaster and maybe open the door to a Crimson Sea 3. Or better yet, I would like to see maybe Koei Tecmo can convince Team Ninja to give Rygar another shot. I think that would be great if they bring that series back too. So hopefully, we'll see if that ever happens, though. But in either case, I definitely enjoyed the Ninja Gaiden Master Collection. Okay, before I end this video, I want to give my thoughts on the Castlevania series on Netflix. And boy, was that was a good series, to be exact, though. When I heard that they were doing Castlevania for Netflix, though, I wasn't 100% sure about that at the time because, well, one, Konami is Konami, and given their reputation, we know what direction Konami has been known to go for, though. And movies based off of video games or TV shows based off of video games have sort of a hit and miss track record, though. But I will say, whoever was in charge of this series, though, they did pardon my language, a kick-ass job with this, though. I love the art style to the series, to be exact, and I love the story, though. I mean, it's sort of interesting to see where Trevor Belmont and Alucard and also Sipe, if I'm saying her name correctly, apologize if I'm not, though. I mean, they really, in my view, kind of push, I think it's TVMA, I'm not sure, but I think they really, really pushed it, though. I mean, the first 2 seasons focused on Dracula, though, and then the last 2 seasons focus on Chimera, the female vampire, and you learn about how there were attempts to resurrect Dracula and all. So it's a really, really well done series. A lot of the voice acting is done great. The story is done really well, though. The ending to season 4, though, it's a mixture of both a sad but also a happy ending based on some of the characters, to be exact, though. But I really enjoyed this series nevertheless, though. I would definitely recommend, folks, this is definitely one series I would recommend binge watching. And I've heard stories that they're planning to do another entry in the Castlevania series on Netflix. If that's the case, and if the rumors are true about it focus on Symphony of the Night, that would be awesome, though. I think Netflix did a really good job with the Castlevania series, though, and I think it shows how you could do a series based off a video game and do it right. I think this one did it better than, say, Dragon Dogma, which I don't think was bad, but not as good as, say, what the Castlevania series done. So I'm hoping another entry in the Castlevania series. I'm hoping the rumors about it being Sympathy of the Night are true and all, but this is definitely a series I would recommend, and it's definitely one I would recommend binge watching too if you ever get the chance, though. Okay, this concludes my video review of Ninja Gaiden's Master Collection and my thoughts on the Castlevania series on Netflix. And again, these are my opinion. What are yours? What are your thoughts about Ninja Gaiden Master Collection, especially for the Nintendo Switch? Have you picked up the game yet? Have you picked up the Switch version or any of the other versions, though? Do you think the game runs well on the Nintendo Switch? Have you ran into any of the frame rate issues that I pointed out in any way, though? And what are your thoughts about Castlevania series on Netflix itself? Have you watched the series, though? Do you enjoy it as much as I did, though? Are you hoping that Netflix will do another entry into the Castlevania series? Do you agree with what I said in this video? Do you disagree? Do you have a difference of opinion? As always, sound off in the comment section below. Let me know what you think. And if you like this video, I hope you hit the like button. I would appreciate it. And I hope you do subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you do, make sure you hit the bell icon for notifications of any new videos I put up. Also, feel free to share this video if you want to, and feel free to donate to my channel if you like. You could do it through PayPal me or Patreon. Links will be in the description of this video, assuming you're watching this on YouTube. And I will see you again next time when I do another video. Hopefully that'll be soon. Until then, from Southern California, I wish you all a good day then. Bye!